Canberra Hospital is in pandemic mode, preparing for the worst. Doctors are running through how they'll respond if a coronavirus patient turns up.
Good. In an ideal situation, a person with suspected COVID-19 would be met outside the hospital, outside the emergency department, at which time a mask would be put on, and they would be assessed to see if they're likely to have COVID-19 or not.
And this is where they'll spend most of their time in isolation, a special room that stops viruses from circulating around the hospital.
So the principle of a negative pressure room is that the air pressure inside the room is lower than outside, therefore air only moves in one direction and it goes through a filter and it's not recirculated. That is a very effective way to protect healthcare workers from pathogens such as COVID-19. All the big hospitals in the major cities will have a number of negative pressure rooms. The swab will be put straight back to the nasopharynx, and it is a little bit uncomfortable.
Hospitals around Australia are activating their emergency plans after federal health authorities effectively declared a pandemic ahead of the World Health Organization. A pandemic is declared when a new disease is spreading easily between person to person across the world. And in Australia, that's already happened, with New South Wales recording 2 cases of person-to-person transmission. Iran is one of the hotspots alarming doctors.
I think the Iranian outbreak is a big problem, not just for Australia, but for the rest of the world. It has porous borders in the Middle East, and we're potentially dealing with a health system that may not be as strong compared to some other countries.
The largest outbreak outside of China is in Daegu, South Korea, with more than 4,000 cases. There's no lockdown in this city of 2.5 million, but schools are closed and businesses are struggling.
And this is my 11th day avoiding outdoors. We're not really supposed to go to movie theatres and department stores. I did go to the movie theatre once though, so...
Australian Lee O'Brien has lived in Daegu for the past 6 years and runs a small tutoring school.
We've already been closed 2 weeks under advisement of the Education Board. Now we're looking like we're going to be not allowed to have kids in here for another 3 weeks at least, so it's a bit rough. A lot of business owners are in dire straits right now because, you know, they've got to stay closed, but what can they do? You know, they can't open and they're just bleeding money. Economically, my business is hurting. I think all businesses are hurting.
The economic effects are also being felt here in Australia. Coronavirus fears continue to ripple through the share market, wiping off tens of billions of dollars in value. At the same time, the ban on travellers from China has hit tourism and education. Economist Chris Richardson says while the economy will be shaken, it won't last long.
Added together, and on our best estimates of where this heads, that might wipe out somewhere between $5.5 and $6 billion of national income in the opening 6 months of 2020.
He expects the economy to recover once the fear subsides.
Never underestimate the power of fear, you know, an incredibly powerful human emotion, and it's that that's gripping both financial markets and to some extent causing the damage in economies. But chances are we won't stay as scared forever. Most impacts of this type to economies are short and sharp.
Hi, I'm Lee Sales. Thanks for watching this story. If you'd like to watch more of 730's stories, they are on the left of your screen. And tap on the button below to subscribe and get the latest from ABC News.